Come on, YouTube. All right, it says we're live. Are we actually live? YouTube Studio still is not receiving a feed. Camera's working though. It keeps missing the focus. No data. No data. Full battery. Okay. Yeah, no secrets. No secrets, baby. Well, now we know that's a thing. The battery life gets drained out of the camera. Oh, come on. Communicate, dang it. There we go. There we go. That's better. Camera moved on me. Hi. I don't know why this is not working. Let's try this. I don't know how many of these we're going to get to. Should still be going. Oh, apparently we are streaming. Or not? What the heck? The health is good, but it says it's dead, and we've been going for 5 minutes. So goofy. Aha! Oh, apparently we are streaming. Okay. Or not? What the heck? Let's mute this, shall we? Mute. There we go. Hi, camera. Can you see me? Can you see me? There it is. Hi. Okay. This is likely going to get flagged, and I don't know, but I'll figure it out. So, real quick explanation. Let's do this first, I guess. I'm trying a couple of new things. We're streaming this. This is a new setup for the webcam situation. And yeah, we got a little bit to discuss before we get into this, but we will get into this after the intro. Okay, so it was brought to my attention, and so therefore I privated the videos, that the last batch of reactions that I did had no audio from the actual songs. So I am going to maintain those reaction videos on the Patreon. So if you want to see the 100% legitimate reaction to these songs, then you must become a Patreon. Or a patron, rather. Words. So yeah, they will be up on the Patreon without the audio from the songs, but we will be doing. It'll probably be over the course of a couple of streams, because yeah, I don't have the time to do all four of them or all five of them right now. Four of them right now. Five, yeah, because we did two Greg Puciatos. Okay, so that being said, we're going to get real quick into Greg Puciato. I need to also thank you very much to Canon USA for this whole setup right now, because I'm using my Canon camera as a webcam, like legitimately as a webcam. I don't have to jerry rig it together to make it kind of sort of work, because Canon, you have a remote shooting app for Canon, so you can make that into a kind of sort of webcam, but it's not as good quality. This is fantastic quality. I think this looks great. First, we are jumping into. We're gonna do some Greg Puciato. For those that don't know, still working out this setup. But for those that don't know, I'm not going to be looking at the camera as much as I probably should. Anyway, sorry. Those that don't know, Greg Puciato was the vocalist for Dillinger Escape Plan, one of the greatest aggressive, abrasive, heavy music bands to have ever been banded. He is such a unique vocalist. It's really interesting. I can't really get into expectations for this video because I already know what the video is. I already know the song. So we're just going to jump right into it. I guess I got to transition into the new screen now that it's different. All right. So we're going to do the two songs that we're going to be analyzing is Deep Set and Fire for Water. And then if I have time, which it looks like I might not have the time, but if I have the time, we will also be doing Evanescence's Wasted on You. So that being said, Let's jump into this ASAP. Also, real quick disclaimer as I push the button. Real quick disclaimer. I don't do regular reaction videos, obviously, because I put analysis in the title for this. We're going to be analyzing. This obviously at this point is not a proper reaction because I've already done these reactions. Normally, though, when I do a reaction, I have not heard the song or seen the video. If it is a video or if we're just analyzing a piece of music or a piece of content, whatever, I have not viewed it if I'm doing a reaction. I also, real quick, have credentials that need to be out of the way. I've been doing this for like 30 years. That's all we're going to say. So that being said, make sure I'm on the proper screen. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so let's take a look at Deep Set, which is the more mellow of the two of these Pusciato. I was not expecting this one to be as mellow as it is, but there's still a lot to get into, so let's get into it. Yeah, first thing off the bat, this is also likely going to get taken down for copyright nonsense, but whatever. First thing right off the bat, this bass tone throughout is so amazing and is such a fantastic glue for this tune. Like, this is the kind of dirty bass tone that a lot of bands aspire to. It's so gnarly. This video shot in reverse. I believe it's really hard to tell because of the simplicity. Honestly, I honestly feel like it was either shot in reverse or played. They had to shoot it to a time. They had a timeout when these cards were played at, or held up. The video is not as effective necessarily as some of the like Dillinger stuff that we saw, but it's still pretty effective in adding to the eerie nature of the song. Oh yeah, I do remember. Yes, it was shot in reverse because obviously you can't pick up the cards like that. This was the thing that I had the big issue with when I originally did my reaction for this. Was the mix on this is better than most aggressive music in that you can hear the bass, because that's a big thing when we do these reaction videos is heavy music. Usually you just lose the bass in the mix. So we have a fantastic bass presence, but then for whatever reason, we've lost the guitar. As evidenced right here specifically. Something like that could be compressed slightly more. Actually, I honestly think there's probably a little bit of headroom on the gain. You could have brought that gain up a little bit so that the guitar just isn't sitting underneath the bass necessarily, because their frequencies vary so drastically, and if you're doing this right, if you're mixing your sonics so that everything has its own room, then the bass and the guitar, while they are close together, are not the same frequencies. So you should have plenty of room for that guitar to sit on top of the bass on the high end, and it's not doing that as much. Love the performance on the vocals for this. He really we'll get back to it again in a second, because he really goes from that deep set eyes, the really mellow, like just kind of kicking back kind of delivery, to the I thought we were already dead, the screamy stuff, which he does very well and did, and it, showed us that in Dillinger and honestly in Killer Be Killed as well. But just even with his solo stuff, he makes that transition so well. Also, high end for the drums are an issue because the snare, not the snare's fine, the kick's fine, the cymbals are what we should be hearing much more of because the drummer's on that ride the whole time through. And there's no clarity to the ride. It's just noise. You don't hear those individual hits, which maybe is what they were going for, but still it becomes muddy because we don't have as much presence. That's probably an EQ thing. You probably could have because the kick and the snare are so present in the mix and we lose the cymbals. Probably was an EQ thing. Probably could have just EQ'd the drum set a little bit more towards the top end to get those cymbals more presence. Right here. Yeah. Sing it, Greg. Sing it. So far, as we're analyzing every aspect of the song, so far, structure-wise, we have a verse, chorus, verse, and now we're into a bridge. So it's a pretty traditional structure. There are, if I remember correctly, I think there are 2 different bridge sections in this, which is really nice playing with the form a little bit, but still making this digestible for the masses, because I would imagine this would be a single. This is perfect example of why you should mix your guitar better, because if you have a solo section and you can't hear the guitar, why have a solo section? This guitar is almost inaudible in this solo section, partially due to the oversaturation of reverb, but also, again, partially due to the lack of gain. I shouldn't be hearing the bass over the solo. If nothing else, your EQ on the solo should probably be different than the rest of the song. Expertly played, though, like very atmospheric and very appropriate for the tune, just not quite mixed well. This is all production issues. Performance issues are pretty much non-existent here. And then we have another bridge. Again, see, talking about the actual video itself, this is super effective. So most of this right here, obviously, we have a bunch of negative space, creepy clown face, and barely readable, legible, I guess is the word I'm looking for, barely legible words on these cards. Just adds to the weird creepy factor that the song is coming with in spades. Ooh, and then slide into the pre-chorus, second half of the verse, effectively. Or beginning of the chorus, I guess. Ooh, I didn't even notice that the first time I watched this. We're gonna go back just a scotch. So watch the cards. There's a ghost image that pops up here. Well, check this out. That was cool. When he says eyes, the 2 different cards. That was really nice, very effective. And the deep set too. I really didn't notice that the last time that we did this. This obviously I saw, but. The bass is such a fantastic glue for this song. And here it doesn't even sound like there's guitar being played. But there was, as we hear the post, the effects going there. So yeah, really dig this song. I'm really excited for Pusciato's solo record. God, I should have pulled up the information. Creating God or something. Child Soldier, I believe, is the main title, and then the subtitle is Creating God. So this song, Fire for Water, is much more what I was anticipating the rest of this record is going to sound like. For that deep set track, that was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, yes, Dillinger does do stuff similar to that. We get a little bit more mellow things. Unretrified specifically comes to mind. There's a couple other tracks that come to mind, mostly in their later stuff. Ironworks, One of Us is the Killer, that kind of shit. So yes, this though is kind of what I was anticipating because Pusciato's a little bit more of a punk rock minded character. I was expecting something with the previous structure and this kind of sound. This one though is like almost structureless, if I remember right, which is always a lot of fun to digest. So let's get right into this real quick. Again, I am running out of time. So this song, this makes it feel like this is going to be indicative of the entire record. This song is also laden with all kinds of production issues that we will be talking about. But that bass tone, though. So this is the thing that kind of blows my mind about this. Obviously, we have two different vocal takes. We took two separate vocal takes. Why would we not also do two separate guitar takes? One for the bulk of the song and then one for the solo. Just doesn't make sense to me. The vocal effect there is so nasty and effective. So this song suffers a little bit on the bass side of the instruments as well because the vocal is so overpowering. We start to muddy up the bass. It starts to really fall into nothingness. All we can hear heavy in this song is vocal and drums, which isn't terrible, but isn't as effective as it could have been if there had been a better... this one might be an EQ situation. Yeah, that sounds like a little bit of a compression situation and some EQ problems on the bass end of things. So that's kind of a verse into a chorus, but we're, like you can see, because I have it stopped, we're almost halfway through the song. And just the whole way. Sorry, my dog is whining behind me. So this section especially would so benefit from being able to hear those tones. We can hear the guitar tone a little bit more in this section, so that is kind of a plus, because before it was really that the guitar was falling behind everything. But right now we can hear the guitar a little bit better. But the bass, I feel like, has basically just dropped out. I mean, obviously it's there. It's just that's more of a performance issue in that it's being played like it's just the extension of the guitar and not an instrument unto itself. But really, the biggest issue is production. Really, the issue is production here, because even as that vocal cuts out, we're still not quite getting the clarity out of that guitar that really you should be getting on something like this, because that would just cut through so well. And then we have a completely separate section after that chorus. Slow and sludgy, and oh god, and he comes in with that vocal. This is where all performance issues go away from me with this song. Now this is all, again, production. Also kind of surprising that both of these songs stick so well in 4/4 time signature, but because they are playing with dynamics a little more, especially this, we have 3 sections and then the song ends. Because they're playing with dynamics a little more, it's excusable because that keeps your interest up, but generally speaking, Pusciato is not somebody I associate as playing it safe with. Sorry, that was loud and annoying. I'm sorry. But yeah, Pusciato is not somebody I generally associate with as playing it safe when it comes to time. 4/4 is really the exception and not the rule in that case. So, yeah, that is unfortunately all I have time for. I might get one more of these live ones in later tonight, but I will be editing today's news show, so stick around for the news show. It will be going up. Audio will be the first thing to go up, as it always is, so if you want to listen to it before you can watch it, then absolutely go check out the feed on all of your podcast options. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. Gonna do an end screen. Don't know exactly how that works with live, but yeah, here's an end screen. I'm gonna try maybe in post after I'm done with the stream, put in cards or end screen stuff here. You can check out the stuff on the channel. Go see all of the other things, the twice weekly news show, the photography videos, all of that stuff happens here on Generally Nerdy. Thank you guys very much for joining me. If you are watching this live or if you are watching this in post, it is much appreciated. GenerallyNerdy.net is the website. Patreon.com/GenerallyNerdy if you want to see the for real reaction to this and the more in-depth analysis that I did with that initial reaction. Again, we will probably be doing this 2 to 3 more times to catch up with all of the reactions that I've already done, but apparently forgot to add the audio somehow. So thank you guys very, very much. That is the end of the show. We will catch you in the next one. Before we go, though, guys, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.